is finally almost back. We've had the Community Shield. We've got Arsenal coming up United. Premier League starts Friday evening. And before Friday evening, you've got Thursday afternoon, What the Devil. Welcome back to the United View YouTube channel. We are What the Devil. My name is Dylan. And today I'm joined by Firms. And a big welcome back to Raf. Thank you, back in the studio again. Summer holidays, he's back and he's ready to talk football. And we've had 2 months of transfer rumours, horrendous takes, arguments on the timeline, theories, incomings, outgoings, endless starting 11 predictions. But we're about to find out finally who is actually going to be starting against Arsenal on Sunday afternoon. So we've got, just over basically 3 days until that game starts. United have had a full week's training. So what they had, Amram said, is Monday, Tuesday were full hard-on sessions. Then Wednesday, United had their media day. So the players had the day off from training and things. Thursday, Friday, very much getting into the granular details of how to beat Arsenal. Saturday, I think a rest day, final preparations. And then Sunday, Old Trafford. Mikel Arteta's men come to Manchester. You've got Gyökeres coming, you've got Zubimendi coming, you've got Noni coming, and Norgard, Kepa, all their signings. You've got our 4 new signings, Leon. You've got Cunha and Brumos, their debuts, and also striker Benjamin Šeško.
You said it correctly, by the way.
I said it correctly. I've been doing my research. I know for all you guys out there, it's Benjamin Šeško. That's how to say his name. You can say it how you like, obviously. The Mbumo and Burmo one gets me. It's definitely Mbumo. But Benjamin Šeško is here. And I just want to ask, do you think he's going to start? Straight off the bat, do you think Benjamin Šeško is going to be in that centre-forward position against Arsenal? I'll explain why I think this, but I think he will be. But I want to pass it on to you guys first.
I've been thinking he won't start just because of it being, first game of the season. He didn't play at all during pre-season. Only had about a week in training or maybe a week and a little bit. I just don't see Amarin doing that. Maybe he can come off the bench. But we do need a striker because Højlund, it looks like he's nailed on to leave. Maybe we don't want to risk getting him injured in a game like Arsenal. But it would be massively beneficial to obviously have him. But then I also think maybe against Fiorentina, the reason why Amarin decided not to play Højlund and to play Mount instead is maybe that's the style he wants to go for this Arsenal game. I don't know. Maybe he's already thinking, right, Šeško can't play, so we're not going to play with a striker. We're going to have Mount as a false 9. I don't know, it's hard to predict, but I would say it's unlikely.
You reckon off the bench?
Off the bench, yeah.
Firms, what about you?
I agree. I think off the bench.
Yeah?
I know. I just don't feel like Amarim is that adventurous. I feel like he always does the cautious approach first. He's a guy that will want to ease you in, like he did with Mbumo. I was waiting for him to start from the outset, waking up at those early hours of our timelines of America, and then not seeing Mbumo. And I was like, or Cunha, sorry, at the time as well. I'm just thinking, like, come on, man. But I just feel like, with Xerxes as well, he's not fully fit as well. He's just easing back into it himself. So I don't think we're going to have a recognised forward with him starting. Šeško is a very confusing one. I'm more leaning, like if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say 70% no, 30% yes.
Oh,
because
interesting.
Šeško was involved in an under-21s match. That is confusing me a little bit.
This is what I was going to bring up. So you said that he's not played in pre-season. He's played twice.
Not in our pre-season.
But he played 45 minutes twice for Leipzig. He was in their full pre-season training up until about 2 days before he went to Manchester. He trained individually with Red Bull's coaches and everything to maintain fitness. But it's not like Mbumo, for example, where Brentford didn't allow Mbumo to play as part of their pre-season for about a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before he then signed for United. He was just doing gym work, which is why I was 2 weeks behind. Šeško hasn't been. Šeško has been part of Leipzig's training up until the last few days before his transfer. And he even trained on the day he flew to Manchester. He trained on the Thursday in the morning and then in the afternoon. And then initially his flight was booked for Friday and he turned around and went, no, get me to Manchester tonight. So he flew on Thursday evening straight after training to Manchester. Friday he did his medical everything. Saturday he came out at Old Trafford. Then, day after he came out at Old Trafford, as in you mentioned, he then played against the under-21s. Because I think that will have been the team who didn't play, or the players who didn't play like 90 minutes, 70 minutes against Fiorentina. played in that under-21. So that would have been his first few moments on the training ground with his new teammates, will have been in that game. And then he's had the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday. I think the decision to start him or not will be taken tomorrow. It's just that, so either today or tomorrow when they're looking at the granular details of how to play against Arsenal. But I think he will start because he's fitter than Xerxes is. Xerxes only just come back to training. He was doing some light training, but he's fitter than Xerxes. He's probably the better striker. If you take them individually, probably the better striker to play against, specifically Arsenal, with like battling Gabriel and Saliba. And I think, again, this is me theorising, there's no information about this, I get the feeling that Højlund might not even be in the squad. Because Højlund didn't play against Fiorentina at all, didn't come in. Mason Mount played 70 minutes up front, and then Mbeumo played up front, and then Mount went back up front after Mbeumo came off. Højlund didn't play a single minute, and I think after all the AC Milan stuff this week, and I've heard from a couple of people that apparently the mood around Højlund is getting a little sour now. Like people who were at the media day have been like, the guy's like, she's not looking good. So I don't think Amram might not want to have that around the squad on the first game of pre-season. So I genuinely feel that Højlund might not even be in the squad. So if you've got Xerxes who's barely just only coming back to the team, Chido Obi is your other striker option. Wow. I just think that Šeško will start and play 65.
But do you think that would be the right thing to do, given the occasion of it? There's a lot of like little storylines, some of which you mentioned earlier on with Gyökeres at Arsenal. Yeah. You got Šeško now at United. Is this actually the right game, opening day of the Premier League season, to put a 22-year-old, £75 million striker up front to start when he hasn't played at all for United, including pre-season? I think there'll be a lot of eyes on that game, and I think it's already going to be a difficult game for United. And I don't think it will be the wisest thing to have him start that game. It might just be us rushing him into it a bit too quickly. Even if we play Mount like we did against Fiorentina, or we even play a front three with Mbeumo up top and Cunha and Bruno either side, something like that, I think that's a safer approach. I would take a draw at Arsenal. You know, I don't really think we need to completely have an out-and-out striker for that game if it's that risky. I
hear it, but I feel like Amram will look at the game. And I think in an ideal world, he'd go, I'd like to blend Šeško in. So, for example, Šeško comes off the bench against Arsenal and Fulham and then maybe starts against Grimsby. Because that's third game of the season, is Grimsby away. Give him Grimsby away as his first start at United. But I don't think Amorim would do anything at detriment to the team's performance. And I think even though Šeško's only going to he had like 5-6 days with his teammates before playing. So 5-6 days is still significant. Like that's a good amount of time to properly understand everything and get some basic ideas in place. I feel like not starting him and then instead playing someone like Mount up front against Arsenal's really strong defence might end up being maybe at detriment to the team. So it might just be in isolation the best selection decision anyway. And don't give him the full 90, maybe play him 60-65 minutes and then maybe take him off. But I just think Amorim won't sacrifice the best logical thing to do purely in terms of have a big sentence. Because he said it after the Fiorentina game, he said at times last season, we've lacked having like a big player like Šeško in the middle of the park, literally someone to just hit with a ball. Like if you've got Luke Shaw playing left centre-back with his good passing, Euro's good passing, Bruno's good passing, etc. We've not had someone to actually just hit the ball to, because it's been like Højlund's, like his link-ups play has been so meh. Xerxes good touch and he can bring the ball down and play players, but he's kept getting injured last season. So I think there's almost like logically Šeško. I'm going to keep saying Šeško because I need to nail it into myself to say it naturally. I was doing the same with Mbeumo. Yeah. I've been nailing it into myself. Šeško. I just feel as if it's. I think in an ideal world, don't start him, but I feel like it would. Like Amram also wants to win this game. And I would say Šeško is the best striker at our club currently. Yeah, already. So he should probably play.
And another reason, so I know that Amorim's going to have a plan for Arsenal. He's going to have tactics. Is whether Šeško falls into that, like part of that plan, starting or coming off the bench. I know that he's going to get minutes. It's just how that works out. But to back your story is the sense is, look, Šeško's 6'5", man. He's 6'5". Yeah. You're up against Arsenal, the set piece kings. Do you know, when you're talking about having someone in your box defending a cross, you're going to be looking at Šeško. You're going to be looking at Maguires of this world. Having him is not going to hurt us from a defensive viewpoint. Having him in there, knock the ball, and someone that's got the ability to not only header it clear, but they can also make that darting run and hit Arsenal on the counter if it came to that. But also, from an attacking point of view as well, our presence in the box as well, from an attacking point of view, has not been the greatest. So when you've got someone like Mbeumo, and then you've got Šeško waiting for that cross, it's just going to be a lovely sight to see. I think you were saying off camera, what was you saying about Mbeumo's number of crosses that he did?
So in the first 45 minutes against Fiorentina, Mbeumo made 4 crosses, and he found someone every single time.
Yeah.
Twice was Lenny Yoro, 6'4".
Yeah.
Once was Aiden Heaven, 6'4". And then I can't remember who the other person was.
Casemiro?
It might have been Casemiro or something.
One was an own.
So Mbeumo had 4. Admittedly, 2 of those crosses were with no pressure because they were from the corner. Whereas Mbeumo took the corner to Ahmad, then Ahmad passed it back and he whipped it in. But Mbeumo 4 out of 4 crosses. And then he also put in some other very good crosses when he played against Everton. And then you've got, obviously, our goal against Fiorentina came from Bruno crossing it initially from a corner. So it feels like we're set up. We've been set, at least in the last game, we set up to look for that man inside the box.
Yeah.
And so if we're setting up like that, why would we then start Mason Mount there?
I think it's a different game though. It's a different game against Arsenal. Against Arsenal, I think we'll have much less of the ball, and therefore we need players who can run. What's really impressed me about Mount in pre-season is he's running, he's pressing, the overall energy that he gives the team. His work ethic is on another level, and I feel as though that's the sort of player we need against Arsenal. I understand and I agree about the physicality and the height against Šeško, but I think, how often are we going to have the ball and just be whipping it into the box like we did against Fiorentina? I think we're going to have much less of the ball, and we just need energy, and we need to pack out that midfield. And then you have runners like Mbeumo, and Cunha if we get a counter attack. But
it has its pros and cons though, because I found myself in that game thinking, where's our focal point as well? I found ourselves like looking at the game thinking, we're playing good, exciting football at times, especially in and around the box. Nice, slick football. But where's the focal point? Where's that guy that's going to say, okay, enough of all of that. I'm taking this ball and I'm smashing it into the top corner. And I was left wanting a little bit. And as much as I was excited, I was like, this can't be our season. And I know we're just getting warmed up and I know we're just starting, but I don't want that to be our season. I want us to be a team where it can play ball, but also know when to strike that ball and smash it in the net. Because at the end of the day, we need goals.
I personally think it's the best possible scenario we have, I think, is to start Šeško. I do think that. Like, if he doesn't start, I'll understand it, but I personally will be kind of surprised because he's had this full week. And United clearly fast tracking might be the wrong word, but the fact that he played literally, he did the medical, then we announced him ASAP. We literally that morning, after the morning he signed, he signed the contract an hour before we announced him. Yeah. So he put pen to paper, immediately went to Old Trafford, immediately walked out. And then the next day, immediately he was then playing at Carrington. Before even a training session, he was playing with the players, and he's had a full week. I just think I'd be surprised if he didn't start. I'd be surprised if he played a full 90, but also be surprised if he only got 20 minutes. Because I just think it's just the best idea.
What if we had a system where Mbeumo played as the number 9 and we had Cunha and Bruno either side with Ugarte and Casemiro in the midfield as more of a
I would rather
pair.
Kobe next to Ugarte than Casemiro and Ugarte. I'd rather Kobe played there.
Just thinking about the game and the occasion.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that in pre-season we didn't actually try out more with Mbeumo up top and Cunha and Bruno either side, or Mount or someone either side. Because even I just think long term, if something happens to Šeško, I'd probably still prefer Mbeumo up top than Xerxes. I'd probably have Xerxes in the 10 position. So that's what I would prefer. But I think this game on Sunday, I'm a little bit worried for it. Only because I just think if we do lose, people are going to over-exaggerate and it's going to be, we've started off on a bad note again, and it becomes a sour note. Whereas I think we're facing Arsenal. They finished second in the league last season. We finished 15th. We've got a lot of new signings. They're a bit more stable. I think we need to give a bit of grace for this game on Sunday. I think we need to be a bit calm about it and just take it as, all right, let's see how we perform. I'm more concerned about how we perform. Can we start to see an idea of what Ruben Amorim wants with the players, including the new ones, rather than the result itself?
No, I honestly, I agree. I think if we lose, there'll be the standard reaction from some people, but I feel like that would be because people will want to complain. Let's say if Šeško doesn't pull out a 10 out of 10 out of the bag, there'll be certain people out there who will then immediately turn around and go, look, I told you. guy's trash or whatever, or blah, blah, blah.
You know that's going to be the talk all season.
That just happens. I think
Gyökeres going to be compared
if we get
season.
absolutely battered, let's say Gyökeres scores a brace within 25 minutes and we lose 4-1, then I'll be like, Jesus Christ, that wasn't good. But if we were to lose 2-1, for example, I see this game as a little bit of, not only we have nothing to lose, but we're not favourites for this game. I'm excited because the game's got like 8 debuts in it. There's like 8 new players who are all being introduced to the Premier League at the same time. So it's a bit of a melting pot of just really random shit. But quick thing, like the video. Yusuf says in the comments, everyone like this video because it's Dylan's birthday. So everyone get liking.
I didn't even know, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
This is the second year in a row we've
I think I
filmed
was
on
there
my
last
birthday.
year when it was on your birthday.
Because this one was in August.
I was saying,
yeah,
summer holiday.
crazy.
But everyone get liking the video. Also, get your comments in about, because this next question I want to ask you guys, and also you guys watching, is more generally, who do you want to see starting against Arsenal? Because we've got some positions that are like nailed uncertainties, right? You've got like Dorgu's definitely playing left wing back. We've got like Lenny Yoro's going to start almost certainly. Bruno Fernandes will start. Cunha and Mbeumo will start. But there are a couple kind of question positions, right? You've got Ahmad, for example, right wing back. He's probably going to start, but there have been some conversations in the last week or so saying that he doesn't look completely up for it yet in that wing back position. I personally think he'll be fine. I just think it's a case of he needs to create a relationship with Mbeumo, and I think those two will kind of both be playing both of each other's roles. At some points it'll be Mbeumo furthest forward, at some points it'll be Ahmed furthest forward, and I think that's fine because they're both left-footed. They can both play out wide and they can both play in the middle. You've got, does Andre Onana come straight back into the team, or after injury, or does Altay Bayindir start? Who starts at left centre-back? Is it Aidan Heaven? Is it Luke Shaw? Who starts at middle centre-back? Does Maguire keep his place? Does De Ligt go in there? And then who starts next to Bruno in midfield? Or, as he's saying, does Bruno start further up? And who starts Casemiro, Kobe and Ugarte? Who starts there? I want to know what you, like, the starting teams that you guys want to see line up against Arsenal on Sunday. I'll come to you first, Firms.
I think just the question players, or you talk about.
Well, no, just like who do you want to see? But there are a load of contention still.
What's your starting 11?
Yeah.
Onana in goal. Dorgu left. I'm gonna have Ahmad right. But I thought about that one just because, from a defensive point of view, going up against Arsenal might be a bit tricky. Attacking wise, I'm happy with what Ahmad does. Defensively, we're still working it out. So from that point of view, but Ahmad, yes, still. And then, did I say the centre back? So centre backs, it'll be Luke Shaw for me. Will be their left centre back. And then Maguire.
In the middle.
And then Yoro on the right side of the back of the three. Just because Maguire's height. De Ligt, I like him overall as a better defender for me than Maguire. But from an aerial perspective, managing Gyökeres, I feel like Maguire might do that, especially the balls over the top. I think Maguire's going to do better in managing those and putting out those fires as well. He adds something in terms of the crosses as well, like I mentioned before about the set pieces. And then in the midfield, I would go with, well, I can only choose one, isn't it? Because Bruno's going to be one of them, right? So it's going to
Well, it's up to you. You could say
I can choose.
Well, you could say Šeško's not starting, so therefore Bruno's in the front three if you want. It's just like, what would you want to see?
You put a compelling case forward, which is why you've put Šeško in the forefront of what I'm thinking now. In the midfield, I do think you can't not have Bruno, so I think he's going to be there. And for that very reason, I feel like we're going to need someone that is defensive-minded, fully, which is Ugarte. So he has to be next to him. And then, I think the front, Cunha in Bruno, and then Šeško.
And Šeško.
Šeško, the cherry on top.
Okay, I'll say Onana comes back in goal. Bayindir hasn't impressed me enough to think he should start as long as Onana's fit. I think Dorgu left wing back, nailed on, best player of the pre-season in my opinion. Right wing back, I think Ahmad will start. I think there are concerns over him and Mbeumo's link-up play because Mbeumo likes to play quite far out wide actually, and if you're playing the right wing back, you want him out wide. So I think that's something that they'll need to work on, but it'll get better. I think the three centre backs, this is I think the toughest ones actually. I think it will be Yoro definitely at right centre back. I think Luke Shaw does come in at left centre back, given the occasion. I think Heaven might not be ready for this game, and I think although Delict's been pretty good in pre-season, I think Maguire, as you said, I completely agree. That height, physicality against the set pieces that we know Arsenal are good at. I think this is the right game for Maguire to play. He usually does all right against Arsenal as well, actually. And then the midfield, I don't see Šeško starting, and I think we need a more defensive midfield. So I'm going to go with Casemiro, but then Ugarte, second half of pre-season hasn't been great. Otherwise, I would have sent him and Casemiro, but I don't trust Ugarte at the moment. So I'm going to say Kobe, actually, next to Casemiro. Yeah,
Really?
this is a wild one. And then Bruno and Cunha either side of Mbeumo up top. But yeah, that would be the front three.
No Mount.
Interesting.
I know you mentioned Mount earlier.
Yeah, it could be Bruno next to Casemiro in the middle, actually, and then Mount, Cunha and Mbeumo up top as the front three. That's a possibility.
Who would you
that
then
wouldn't
have at
surprise
striker?
me.
Would you keep Mount as like kind of false 9 position?
I would have Mount
played?
as the false 9. Yeah, sorry, I would have
And
Mount
then-
as the false 9.
alright.
Cunha and Mbeumo either side. Bruno, Casemiro in the middle. That might be it, actually. Yeah.
I think if I was playing that front three, I'd want Mount on the right, Cunha on the left, and Mbeumo up top. Because I think Mbeumo's the strongest out of those three. Because you maybe he is playing against Gabriel and Saliba.
Yeah. But then don't you think you lose the pace out wide though of Mbeumo?
But also as well, Mbeumo's delivery. Like I still think Šeško's starting. So like,
Yeah,
I can
fair
theorise about what Mbeumo could do up top. But I don't. If it does happen, cool. I get to see Mbeumo play. I've been loving
We
and
can't
watching him
lose
play, man.
Mbeumo's crossing ability as well.
Brother,
I don't think there's any
He
case where we
levelled
should-
up in the week he had between the Everton game and the Fiorentina game. Mbeumo levelled up very quickly because he looked all right against Everton, but he had a couple moments where he looked a little bit off the pace. Still learning, blah blah blah. In the Everton game, he looked so sharp. His touch, his touch and
is
turn
First touch.
is stunning, man.
It's a joke.
It's stunning.
Was I messaging in the group? I don't remember. I just remember
Yeah.
seeing that touch and thinking, he receives that ball at such high speed and he just kills it flat.
It's
he uses his
fucking
body
beautiful.
to shield.
Yeah.
And
It's fucking beautiful.
He lays it off.
It's
You can
exactly
trust
what
him.
we need. It's exactly what players like Garnacho, even Ahmad out wide sometimes was lacking that first touch when you
Yeah.
receive the ball from quite high up.
I've
But
got
he's
to say, one player I think I've been most impressed with this pre-season is Lenny Yoro. It's weird, like I might just be exaggerating here and overhyping him a bit, but I don't think I've enjoyed watching a defender play as much as I enjoy Lenny Yoro play. Like I used to love watching Wan-Bissaka defend because it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you knew he was going to lock someone up.
always
He put in
gonna be.
ridiculous tackles. It was just always really good fun to watch Wan-Bissaka play. But Lenny Yoro feels a bit like Wan-Bissaka in terms he's got the long legs, he's got like those spider legs, and he can time a tackle perfectly. But his passing range, everyone's forgotten his passing range because in pre-season last season, remember when he played against Rangers and he had that ping from right to left over the top, and then he got injured, and then he came back, and then Leach got injured, and so Yoro started covering left centre back, and everyone was like, Lenny Yoro's our new first choice left centre back. But then now Shaw's back playing again, Aidan Heaven's come through since January, and Lenny Yoro's gone back to the right hand side. Everyone's gone, oh my God, I forgot about his passing because I love that ping. And I think we're going to feed, especially if Dorgu's playing as high and he continues to play as high as he's done. I think that's a slam dunk feed for that cross ball, get Yoro the ball, and then he can ping it towards Šeško in the middle, or he can ping it towards Cunha or Dorgu playing through. I just think I just love watching him play.
When we got Euro and we managed to get the steal over Real Madrid, I couldn't believe it. Like for me, it was like, this guy isn't supposed to be at Manchester United. Not that we ain't a massive club, because we are, but it's the fact of Real Madrid wanted him and we managed to get him. And in my mind, I thought, this is amazing. And since his first game or two, whatever, he's been nothing but amazing. Like Euro is just someone.
He got burnt by, who does he get burnt by? The Southampton I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
But he got burnt by him, got like,
tricky customer.
and then didn't get dribble pass for 12 games.
Yeah.
To click
The
like
switch that
He woke
flipped
up.
in his head, is immense. I just think Lenny Yoro is so good, and he settled in so well as well.
You know,
man.
when you think of defenders and you think of that impact of recent times, you think of like Martinez when he came in, and we're just like, he's galvanized the defense. Like, Euro's not as like wild and exciting in that sense, because with Martinez, it was all about chest pumps and fist pumps and getting aggressiveness. With Euro, it's a nice, subtle calmness of, you're giving me, I don't want to say the S word with the other team, because I know they're going to be onto me, but you're just giving me, you know what I mean? You're giving me like very assured, very like intelligent, like.
And he's consistent as well.
Consistent performances. And I just I just know that Yoro's gonna go on to be like the creme de la creme of centre backs. And I just hope that he can stay with Manchester United for the foreseeable season. But do you know what I like also about the defence as well? It's just that we've got guys like Aiden Heaven, like you mentioned, he's developing really well as well. You can tell that he's got a lot about him. He's comfortable, he's confident, he can bring that ball forward. And you've got guys like Mazraoui that it's always going to bring you out of any challenging situation because of his versatility, and he's able to play across probably the back three. I think he's going to be someone as well that just helps complement a lot of these young players that we've got as well.
It's crazy to say, but I actually think our best position at the club right now is centre back.
Yeah.
I think we're most covered.
Stacked, man.
We've got depth in centre back. One's injured, you get another one coming. The problem is where it starts to seem a bit shaky is the fact that a lot of them are injury prone, especially that left centre back. Heaven's already had 2 or 3 injuries since he's been at the club for a year. Luke Shaw, we already know what he's like, and Martinez as well.
Yeah.
That's the only issue, the injuries. Even Maguire, Maguire picks up quite a few injuries. So if they can stay fit, I think that will give us a nice solid base to work with from the back. And hopefully Onana won't have to do as much as he did last year.
Yeah, I think for me with Onana, I'm happy. I'll say I'm not happy. I'm okay with him staying for one more season. I don't see him. I think this feels like his last season, but I'm okay with him staying if we can
get Baleba over the line.
Well, yeah, if we can get Baleba over the line, yeah, but also if we can reduce the number of chances he has to make an error. Because the fewer shots that he faces, the fewer bad parries he's going to make, and the fewer errors he's going to make. And we can get him on the ball more. Obviously, he's great on the ball and everything. I just think, and honestly, so many shots last season, he had just so much room for error. If we were to get Baleba over the line and stuff, we'd reduce the number of times Onana is facing a shot.
Yeah.
And then reduce the number of times he can actually make an error then.
This is something I looked into actually. I think it's true, Onana hasn't been great for us, not as good as we would have wanted him to be. And even on the ball, which is the main reason why we brought him in, he hasn't been great. However, as you're sort of alluding to there, Dylan, I think when you're playing for United and you've got a shaky midfield, we're so easily played against, a lot of chances against us, it's going to be hard for any goalkeeper. And there was a lot of talks about Donnarumma before, now it seems like he's going to City. But I looked at their stats and actually, their stats are very similar. And Onana slightly actually edges it over Donnarumma for a lot of stats such as, goals conceded per games, the amount of saves per games. Onana actually comes across as slightly better keeper than Donnarumma.
I wasn't really a fan of Donnarumma when we were linked.
Really?
I like
a lot of people were.
I like the idea of bringing someone in like him who's huge presence, blah blah blah. Would probably instill confidence and ultimately the best the best trait a goalkeeper can have is to like be 6'6".
Yeah.
That is honestly like the best trait a keeper can have.
As well, man.
Initially.
I love that as well.
Like David Raya, for example, is 6 foot. That would make me know, no matter how good David Raya is with the ball at his feet and his saving and everything and his good reach, I would always be nervous that my goalkeeper is only 6 foot tall or like 6'1". Or a goalkeeper being 6'6", 6'9", like kind of when you think about how good Nick Pope was previously.
Courtois.
Obviously Courtois just being 6'7" or something. He is. Gives him an advantage because he's literally bigger. He's literally always close to the ball. But I want to move on to the most talked player about in Man United circles at the moment, which is Carlos Baleba.
Come on.
Carlitos Baleba. Because there's a load of weird reports coming out now about him. So when David Ornstein dropped the big... I know it was Indy Kyler who said it first.
What's going to be the song if we get him, though? Because you just said something right there.
I said I'm a believer.
You're a believer.
You say... it
What's
might
going to
be
the theme song?
Let's see if we can sign him first, okay? Let's see if we can sign him first. But, so David Ornstein dropped the whole kind of, United have inquired through intermediaries about Baleba. What he said at the end, and for those who are watching the red carpet the other day, will know that I said this, is David Ornstein said, United, basically on the lines of like, United are keen on the player and will understand in the next few days if a move is feasible, but everyone accepts the move will be a hard one to pull off. We've had the next few days, right? It's been almost a week or so. I believe it's like a week, maybe just over a week since this stuff initially dropped. And we're still in there. We're still talking to Brian. We're still talking to the player. He's keen on the move. Clearly, we think there's something in this. We've only got 2.5 weeks left of the window, by the way, which is really crept up. That Mbumo thing really dragged this window out suddenly. There's like 2.5, 3 weeks left. I'm of the firm belief, and I'm just speculating here, but I'm on the firm belief that United really think there's something in this. And now there's been reports from the Independent last night, Independent, Miguel Delaney, not necessarily the most credible source, but he said that Brighton won up to like 120 million for the guy, and United are mulling over the possibility of an 80 million bid and then making up the rest of that in add-ons. So that could end up being a deal of like 80 million plus another 30 in add-ons. Those 30 can be 20 easily achieved ones, taking you to 100, and another 10 or 15 harder ones that can be like winning the Premier League or top 10 in the Ballon d'Or or something like that. And then you could also include maybe like a 15% sell-on or something. But I'm of the firm belief that United will do something formal in the next few hours or the next few days, because I think if we weren't planning on it, we would have stopped looking at it by now, and we would have gone on, because it's also mentioned that Adam Wharton is a player we also like. But I feel like we would know by now already if United were not looking to pull something off, because we only got a couple of weeks left, and as per David Ornstein, number 6 is absolutely essential. That's how we see this. David Ornstein yesterday said number 6 is seen as absolutely essential for Manchester United. So we almost certainly are signing a number 6 in the last couple of weeks of the window. If we thought that wasn't going to happen, we'd have moved on by now. So I really think that we're going to do something concrete in the next couple of days.
I've got some breaking news for you, Tom.
Okay.
By the time this goes out, yeah?
It's live.
Well, we're live.
What
you just said is already out.
By the time I've left this
Studio, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we have some big news. Look, the new tier 1 source, man, Indy. He said, don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock it. He says 2 p.m. there's some breaking news. But do you know what?
Was that yesterday?
No, I think that was
Well, so yesterday, your bestie Indy Kyler News said a bid is imminent. So he said that 23 hours ago.
Imminent doesn't
and then 8 minutes ago, he said, look, the mainstream media are ready to report a bid. And then he's basically just being like, look, what I said yesterday is now being reported today. And then he's put a little dynamite emoji, whoever he is.
I don't know if I'm ready to trust him yet.
I don't. About Collier being loaned out as well, right?
Collier's going to West Brom. That's happening. I spoke to Stephen Ralston this morning.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No. This is what I mean. This is what I say. I'm not basing myself off Indy Kyler's reports, because it's all fun and cool to read them, but I'm not using that. He said so much random stuff.
And he's been.
But he's Baleba tier 1 now.
I don't know if he is.
But I think aside from what he's been saying, I believe the fact that we haven't left negotiations, and it's like the Athletic are saying he's keen on the move. I'm pretty sure.
I think if it gets to a bid, and if we know a price, if that article you just read about Manchester United understanding what a price is, I think he's coming Man United.
The thing is, look, if we know that it's 120 million, of course United know that. So they know that that's how much they're going to have to spend.
If it's true, though. Because
I believe Ornstein and Fabrice.
That's the thing. But Brighton went from, we don't want to sell, therefore I'm not even engaging, and you're not even going to know what a price
Everything
is.
has a price.
If we know that's a negotiation tactic, so us knowing the price is letting us know, okay, that's a negotiation tactic, and that's confirmed it.
Yeah.
And once we get the price, for me, the deal gets done.
Once the player says that they want to leave the club, or that they're happy or that they want a bid to be accepted, I think regardless of how good or how important the player is for the club, everything has a price. And look, whether it's 80 plus 40, whether it's 100 plus 20, whatever it is, put it on the credit card facility and let's get Baleba, because I'm actually a believer. I think he's the one player right now that's available that can fit into the Amarin system. And the even better thing is that he has so much room to grow and to get better. He has such a high ceiling. And I just think if we miss out on him, yes, Wharton's about, but what would Crystal Palace say for Wharton? Maybe 70, 80 million?
No, they'll say the same or higher.
Exactly.
Because there's only a couple of weeks left, man.
So I think
if they're losing Eze and or a couple other players in the next month or so.
This is the best opportunity to get in before other teams, get ahead of us for next season. I just think put it on a credit card, take the PSR hit, wherever it is, just get him at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the sponsorship deal with Coca-Cola as well? I wonder if that plays into it as well.
So we've had 3 deals. We've signed 3 deals. We're negotiating 3 deals with major companies. So there's one came out today. The Coca-Cola one came out yesterday, and there's a third one. but that's not been revealed who it is yet. But the total worth of those 3 deals is 70 mil.
70 mil, yeah, that's what I heard.
But this is the final
more,
point I want to move on to quickly before we wrap up, is sales.
Yeah.
What the hell? I remember sitting here 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and Nick was saying to me, Dylan, I'm worried about the sales, I don't think they're going to happen. And I was sat there going, no, I think they will. Betis want Anthony. There are clubs who want our players. What we've done is loan Rashford. Sancho, so Roma have put in a loan bid for Sancho, and United want to sell him permanently. Anthony, I'm getting pissed off with this guy. Because as much as I can't fault him as a player obviously I can because I thought he was terrible. But in terms of like, it's not like he was before like being a dick to the club or anything. It's not like he was like downing tools or like he was trying. He was just bad. And at Betis, and then now he's like holding out for Betis. You know, there are reports saying that United have turned around to him and gone, you better accept one of these offers soon. Like they're saying him accept because they've got apparently loads of offers for him. And he's just kind of sat there going, no, I want Betis, and Betis is waiting until final day of the season. Garnacho to Chelsea will happen. I'm not too fussed about that one. It's like, Malacia has been linked to nobody this entire summer. And it's like, nothing's happening. And to link this to Baleba, I have no doubt that we're going to try for Baleba in the next couple of days. But I'm not confident it's actually going to happen. But I've got to know we're going to try. But we can't really try and be confident it's going to happen.
Don't say that.
It's just how I feel. But what the hell? What?
Can I? So
it's mad.
Understand
no sales.
Understand
Zero.
It's business. It's business, right? Because you got to look at it from the other way around, right? You got to look at it where Mbeumo and Cunha said they only want Man United, and we loved that. We enjoyed that. This is guys saying he only wants Betis. This guy saying he only wants Chelsea and Garnacho. And I don't know what Sancho is on. He's just trying to run down his contract. No matter who comes in for him, I'm convinced he's not going anywhere. He's gonna leave on a loan free, and then and then at the end of the season he's just gonna walk. But with Garnacho in particular, right, it makes it difficult that one, they're choosing their clubs, and specifically only those clubs. But secondly, it makes it difficult that these clubs have more money, I believe, than they're letting off, and just trying to lowball the club. And the desperation that it's looking like with us needing Baleba is adding to that. And the fact of the narrative that, we said no publicly, we don't want some of these guys, which is adding to the lowballing of the fees.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. When Oli came in at Man United and didn't want Lukaku or whatever like that, we still held out and said we wanted a reasonable price. Do you understand? Like there's examples probably down that line of Manchester United saying, I still need to get value for this player, regardless of what you're saying. Remember, the culture of what's happening at Manchester United with that leaked information. It wasn't Abraham going out in front of the cameras and saying, hey guys, Garnacho's got to get out of my club. Let me know, cheapest offer, first offer. Like, it wasn't that. It was leaked information that came out. And that's the culture that we're trying to change.
It wasn't leaked, it was briefed.
Oh, briefed then.
The club basically went, these guys have said they want to leave, so they're going.
But that's different to the club saying, he needs to find a new club, get out of there.
I actually blame the club. I think the club have handled this really poorly. I don't rate these players. I'm not here to defend any of these players at all, apart from Rashford. But I think where the club haven't tried to change the narrative, and where the club have been very negative, like them briefing the media to say that these are the players that we want to get rid of, and them not going on pre-season, banishing them from the squad, Ruben saying to the squad that that Garnacho will never play for the club again and needs to find another club, and not correcting it afterwards. I think with actually giving other clubs the space and the right to be like, yeah, cool, we'll just wait until the last day and we'll take him on loan. Of course, if you're Chelsea, you're going to wait for Garnacho's price to go down, and all these other clubs, of course, you're just going to take Rashford on loan because they're doing exactly what I think they should do. And we struggle to sell players because we banish them and we ruin their name. And even if they've ruined their own name from their performances or whatever they do off the pitch, we don't try to change the narrative. Amorim coming out in the media and being like, oh, we didn't have a striker against Fiorentina when you had Højlund on the bench. You're just bringing his value down even more. You're saying that we're desperate to get rid of these players. So they'll just wait until the final day. I blame the club.
And it's completely. A culture thing. It's a culture thing with the players, and it's also a culture thing with the club. We need to be able to get better at this. We can't. it's challenging. I know it's difficult. We're trying to move to a different place where we can be like Chelsea and sell players like them. But we're in a place right about now where we're trying to get rid of a crop of players that I believe is the last crop of players that we experience this type of issues with, and we can move forward and progress. But at the minute, it is a massive eyesore, man, watching these players still back at the club. And I guess it raises the question is this: if these guys, because in my mind, it's like, Garnacho, if you wait and try and lowball us and you don't play to 6 to 12 months, because that could be misinterpreted, by the way. I don't know if he's saying the club said I ain't going to play, so therefore I'm not going to play. Or he's saying if I don't go Chelsea, I'm not going to play. I don't know, but I've been seeing comments on socials misinterpreting what that actually means. But if you have these guys still at the club, is that more of a negative than trying to change the culture of being bullied about prices? Do you know what I mean? Like what's bigger than the other? Because we're going to have to make a decision at some point. And where do we go?
With the whole, so like what you said earlier about you thinking maybe the wrong decision to like banish them or whatever, I'm not going to say that us not letting these players go on pre-season and being part of the main squad is a mistake, because I don't think we would have the more family feel that there is around the United squad at the moment if we had Garnacho, Anthony, Jadon Sancho smack in the middle of all these players. So I think we've benefited big time from these guys not being in the squad, because it's got rid of potential fires in the squad by having these players who are sulking or moaning or behind Amram's back will be chatting shit about him to some of the other teammates or the youth players, etc. But I also recognise it has shot us in the foot in terms of negotiations. But I would put down us not being able to offload these players, not down to the specific decision of banishing them, but more just the systematic failures of the club over the last 10 years. And I do think this is like, it's hard to, I know it partly feels harsh saying this, but this is, I think, the final detox that we have. And we're just going to, as a club, we have to accept that we're going to go through shit and we're not going to get loads of money. So the Højlund deal, for example, is AC Milan want him for about 6 million loan fee, plus covering his wages. So that's around 10 mil United will get back for Højlund, plus a 39 million buy option next summer. And like Rashford's deal, because I'm pretty sure Rashford's deal is the same as this, is that might turn into an obligation if certain conditions are met. Because I think that was reported on Rashford, is that his 30 mil buy option becomes an obligation, I think, if he hits. Don't know what the things are, but I think becomes an obligation. But I think it's just a case of the club are just going to have to... I would rather the club sit there, rather than kind of bend over backwards and accept a like subpar deal for these guys. I'd rather we kind of took a hit for a bit and made an example, for example, out of Anthony. If Anthony still goes, no, I want Betis, and Betis come in 2 days before the deadline and go, here's a loan, I would rather the club sit there and go, no, we told you 3 weeks ago we're not accepting a loan. And then just Anthony stays, for example. I know it would be detrimental short term to the club, but I do kind of want us to do that, even if it shoots ourselves in the foot a little bit temporarily. Let's say, for example, that maybe means that we have to fund Baleba, we've got to take some money out the credit facility rather than raising it through sales, to set the example in future of we aren't going to budge now. We're not going to accept your buy loan with 50% wage coverage. Because if you go to Real Betis and go, we told you 3 weeks ago we're not accepting that offer, and we mean it. I know that will be detrimental to United. I know that we're going to take a hit. But
when you say it's going to be detrimental,
but it stops it happening next time.
I agree.
When you say it's going to be detrimental, it's also going to be financially detrimental as well.
No, that's what I mean. It's going to be detrimental is a big word. Like Anthony staying for one more season won't cause us to lose £100 million or anything. We'll have to pay his wages and he'll probably be a squad member or whatever. But it's more like I think that hit is worth taking to be able to show people that they can fuck off with their last minute bits.
My biggest thing with that, because the money is less concerning to me. If it affects Baleba, that's going to worry me. But if the credit facility is there and they took out enough to do that deal, then I'm hoping that that's there, even though they need to balance the books somehow. But then my thing is we can't obviously ban them from, like, we can give them paid leave or whatever, do what you're doing. But I don't know how much are we going to be able to separate these lot which we're calling maybe like the bunch that is not quite what you want around the players throughout the season, how much you're going to be able to do? That's the big thing I'm worried about. How much are they going to be in the same dressing rooms throughout the season? Are they going to be on the tour bus?
I think whoever doesn't go will just be back in the squad. They'll be back in the
Amarian
squad and they will have the shittest role they can. Amarian said it.
Yeah, but
Amarian
I
said
think
bring them
that's
back.
really unrealistic. And I think that it's not as easy as that. And I think we're going to put ourselves into bigger issues than if we were to just let them go. I think I get what you're saying, to be honest. It sends a message to the other clubs. You can't just bully United. But also, if we just say, yeah, cool, we'll let you go, it's like, it sends a different type of message of, no matter who you think you are, how good you think you are, even if we don't get as much money for you, we're going to let you go right now because we don't want you in the club. But Garnacho, you've spoken out.
Four other guys doing that. What's to stop four other guys? Remember, Anthony did this before he even came to Manchester United. So that I'm not surprised at what he's doing.
It stops other guys from doing it because it shows that if you don't want to play at the club, you shouldn't be here. You need to get out. Not that we're going to keep you in because we want to get more money for you next season or we're not getting paid enough. It's a thing of the priority is who actually wants to play for the club. If you don't want to play, that's fine, just go. If it means that we need to let you go for a lower fee, even though I think that's the club's fault and we shouldn't be in that position, but I still think it's better to just let them go for a lower fee.
I don't know. I think it gives us a much better position, a much better place. Because the reason we're in this position at the moment, more than anything, is because we finished 15th last year. We have no bargaining power. So I think if we can give ourselves as much bargaining power as possible, even that's just having, let's say to Brighton, they have the image of a club who don't change their fucking mind.
Yes.
When Caicedo was doing these Instagram posts being like, I've always wanted to play for a big club, Brighton went, sweet, don't care. If you're not, like, they sat there and then Caicedo wasn't in the squad for a couple of weeks. But and then they brought him back in. If these lot, okay, let's say Jadon Sancho ends up moving nowhere because he couldn't agree terms with Chelsea. United said from minute one, we were selling him, we're not loaning him. And then his agent can't find a team to put a 17 million bid in for him. If he comes back to United in the squad, I think that's more embarrassing and that sends more of, like, that looks better for us than it does for him. Like, I don't think that we would be conceding, like, bar the financial hit of not raising the money from his sale.
I don't think he's accepting anything, by the way. I don't
think. Yeah, and if he's not sweet, he can then just not play. Play in the under 21s or whatever.
Be in the changing rooms. I'd rather them just not be around.
I get what you're saying, and I do agree with most of it. It's just these are depreciating assets. Someone like Caicedo, who Brighton kept for a year when he was making those posts, because they knew that they would still get the same amount, if not more, the following season.
No, I understand that, but I more mean. Let's say if we can get right now bullied by Real Betis into paying another 15% of Anthony's wages for another year just to help them out, that's a shocking image for us. Whereas if we just basically sit there, and I know I've sworn quite a lot this podcast, just be there and just be like, fucking no. We know what you're trying to do, and we told you about it. Yeah, I would rather we took the short-term hit of having to accommodate these lot for another 6 months, and then we can sell Anthony in January. Because ultimately,
yeah, but in January or next year summer, it will be the same thing.
I don't think this is the thing. If I think we do this now, it won't be the same thing in January because everyone will have seen that we back our words. You're going to sit up
for 12 months. No World Cup for you. No World Cup for you.
If we say we're not going to accept any of your bids, and then we actually then don't accept the bids because we think they're too low, the clubs they're not going to do the same thing next summer or next January.
There needs to be just one authority, and I think the players have just got way too much power in this. For you to now be saying, I only want this club, forget about it. Like, if these things ain't worked into contracts from the get-go, then we shouldn't be having conversations about you just writing off all of these bids at the detriment of your club. There needs to be one authority. If you want to make sure that you can go to just one club, have that in a contract and then allow us to just say whether we accept it in the beginning or not. Don't just be like, I only want Chelsea or nothing, or I only want Betis or nothing. Betis is playing games. I'm pretty sure they can find the money. They sold like 50 million quid worth of players this summer. Of course they can play.
Betis are acting broke.
Yeah.
Because...
So are we.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, it's again, because we're doing the same things that we don't want other clubs to do to us. Yeah. Like we get in...
That's business though,
I know, but that's the thing is we can't... I firmly believe that if we just take a ridiculously harsh stance now and prove to people that we're willing to take hits in order to get what we want, then long term, we'll be better. That's why we've ended up paying 60 6 million for Šeško and 65 million from Bumo and stuff is because our bargaining position is so low and we're in desperate need of this stuff. But if we can make it look like that we're not in desperate need for these, like with the Šeško stuff, right? Šeško stuff. Clubs might not be coming in because they're like, oh, we know we need a striker, so we're going to lowball you with offers, and then we went and bought a striker anyway and turned around and gone, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And we got what we need, and you had no part of it.
Exactly.
This is what I mean.
We don't want to depend on. We don't never want to look back and say, "Oh, mate, we might need Garnacho again."
Yeah. I'm just of the firm belief that the financial hit that we take because I think Garnacho will go to Chelsea. I'm not worried about that one. Chelsea want him. The personal terms are already agreed and everything. I don't think Chelsea are going to come in with a loan. They might come in with a low offer of like 35 plus 10. That one is fine. We got a sale. That one I'm happy to just go off. But it's stuff like the Anthony one and Real Betis and Roma coming in with a loan bid for Sancho and stuff. It's that stuff where I'm just like, if we're saying both to the player and the club, we told you a month ago what we want and we told you we're not going to accept less than that. You're trying to test us, call our bluff. We're not bluffing. You're going to want to play football for 6 months. You're not going to get the player you want. Betis, you're going to finish lower because your best player last season, you could have got him any time in the window. You tried to play a game with us and we kicked you out the park. That means that they won't happen again with other clubs. That's just how I see it. Is that we play hardball now and we maybe take the hit now because then it means January, next summer, onwards, we can sit there and go, we mean what we say. So when we tell you we're not accepting that bid, we're not accepting that bid. End of story. You'll move. That's how I want us to have the clubs.
I want us to be that vicious.
Yeah. I think we're running over a bit now. I can see. I think other people want the cameras. So I know we're like mid-discussion. This discussion has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a great pod, especially with you, Raf, coming back on.
Yes,
and the comments are loving it. They're agreeing and disagreeing with us in every way. I want to say just thank you so much, you guys, for watching. For those of you who've wished happy birthday to me in the comments, big up. Thank you very much. Firms, Raf, it's been a pleasure having you back. Thank you for coming on as always. And obviously, you're welcome back anytime. I'm sure Firms will see you again next week, and then Raf, you'll be back on as well. Across the next couple of weeks. Huh?
What's your birthday plans?
I've got a little shindig tomorrow evening. On a Friday evening in London. Just have a little. Are you laughing at the word me saying the word shindig? You are, aren't you?
He's aged.
He is. He's cracking. Ben's cracking up behind the cameras. But just cover with my mates. Nice chill time. But it's been a pleasure as always. Comments, make sure you kind of let us know what you agree with, what do you disagree with. Do you think my stance is right, us taking a hard stance, or do we just let the clubs have the players and get them out, or everything like that? Who do you think is going to start against Arsenal? Is Šeško going to play? Is Šeško going to score? What else did we talk about? Oh yeah, believer. Are you a believer? Are you not a believer?
When I saw
let us know. Let us know if you're a believer. I love that we've made a hashtag, by the way. I think it's so funny. That is so funny. But regardless, make sure to like, subscribe, follow United View on social channels, on our YouTube, follow United District, our YouTube channel, our social channels, our website, everything, all of that. Apart from that, I will hopefully see you at 12:30 next Thursday. Peace.